The Tennessee Tribune would like to welcome Robert Cain to Tennessee State University in its tennis department. He is the coach, the very able coach. We thank you for coming by our office for this interview. We hope to see a lot in our newspaper about your tennis program in the future, near future.
Very near future.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, for being here.
Okay.
What do you see as the greatest obstacle you face as the new tennis coach at TSU?
As a new tennis coach, just changing the culture. You know, the culture here has been, we haven't done so well over the past years. I think the last 2 or 3 years that I can see that we won maybe 2 matches every year. Those usually against, Mississippi Valley. It's not a very challenging team, but it's just changing the culture so that I could actually, get the recruits in here that we need, to be successful. To piggyback on that, we just signed Daryl Hell. We just signed him for the fall of 2013. He's a JUCO kid from Mississippi. He's playing now at Holmes Community College, and he's ranked 5th in the nation. So that we're off to a good start with that. We got a kid from Columbia, a real loyal kid, I must say. He signed. He came with me from UAPB. He was I was recruiting to come there, and when I told him that I was changing schools, he decided to come here. So we'll probably get him either in the spring or in the fall. But he is signed, and we just yesterday got a commitment from a 3-star out of McKinney, Texas. And she'll be coming here in the fall of 2003. So, that's going to be the biggest challenge. When you out recruiting, and even so, just with the local talent. Just trying to give them a picture of what's to come. So, they'll want to come. Because you can't, when you're dealing with, building a program. You have kids, looking at your program, well, what have you done, and what are we going to do? You have to be able to answer those questions, and it's tough when, you're telling kids, you're starting something new. You have to get those kids to believe in what you're selling and what your vision for the future is. So, and that's going to be my toughest challenge right now, but I did it at UAPB, so I'm pretty confident, I can do it here. I think we have TSU has a lot to offer to have this, wonderful facility. We have access to 4 indoor courts at Hadley Park at our disposal. We are, as we speak, making great use of that. So those things are all positive, and that's going to help us in our recruiting. And as we get kids here, and those kids, they'll help us, spread the word and hopefully change the perception. TSU can.
Okay. This may seem like an obvious question because you left a program to come here. So you obviously feel that you got the support of the administration in terms of the things that you need to succeed here.
I know I definitely have the support of the administration because those were the terms that I came in. There were certain things that when Ms. Phillips and I met, I said I needed. We talked about those things, and she said I can get those things. So I feel I have the absolute 100% support of TSU administration. And I must say she's been a lady of her word up to this point, so I don't see anything changing.
Okay. One of the problems at HBCUs historically with sports that aren't football is getting fans to attend whatever it is, track, tennis, soccer, baseball. Do you envision or anticipate or have any plans to kind of address drum up fan interest in tennis?
Yeah, I have some plans. I mean, we're partnering with some folks in our community who deal with some of the junior development programs in town. Hadley Park being one. There's another, Mr. Williams, who he deals with another, I think, 1,500 kids throughout the community. And we target the kids, and usually the adults will come.
Okay.
If you target, it's just like in the junior program or anything like with toys, and you target, the kids, and they got to be transported to the function, so they got to get a ride by an adult. So you got 20 kids. You figure you probably get 10 parents, even if they have to drive 5 kids. You're gonna get some parents out there. So if they're little kids, the parents got to stick around. They can't just drop them off. So by targeting some of the kids in the community, we'll pick up some some fan interest that way. And we have there's a few other things that I know we can do as far as at school to make sure we get some of the kids on campus to some of the matches. We'll get staff, and they'll help bring interest with the actual students on campus, and we do some things, some rallies of that type of sort, and let them know what we're doing. And hopefully, we can get, to a tennis match. If I can get 50 people out to a tennis match, I figure that, being successful. And then once we start winning, we had, it took us a little while on campus, but once we started winning, then we got more people interested in,
Yeah, winning does seem to do that, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Winning solves all your problems. So, and we will be winning. You can put that on paper. We will be winning. Once we get all my kids in here, I must say, we will definitely be winning.
Okay. This is more kind of a long-term conceptual question, but I'm curious, because you're somebody that's in the tennis structure nationally. Why do you think there's been such a problem in terms of American tennis in general? I mean, the perception of American tennis right now worldwide is that it's at a pretty low point. Why do you, as someone involved in it, why do you think that it's gotten to that point?
Well, there's just a lot of things that that we seriously do wrong.
Okay.
First thing being that you have junior tennis, you have juniors playing against juniors who want to play with men, okay, and that to me is just not a good recipe for success.
Okay.
If I'm a kid and I aspire to play with men, then I need at some point in time to actually start playing with men. Okay, when you think about when you play, let's take baseball for instance. Okay, when you want to go into the majors, you leave high school. Okay, you're not prepared usually to jump from high school ball into the major leagues.
Only a handful.
Puts you in single A, then you work up to double A. Okay, so we don't have that for kids. Well, we don't have, we do, but they don't use the process properly. They want to go and play juniors all the way up to 18, and then after that, Then they want to start playing challengers after they're 18. Well, to me, that's backwards. What they need to start doing, like all the pros that make it, they play juniors. They try to get out of the juniors to start playing challengers and, you know, ITFs, bigger events where they're playing against the big boys. So, you know, we don't stress that. We put too much emphasis on junior tennis. You know, we have these juniors chasing juniors, and then when it's time for them to go and play big boy tennis, they're not prepared. That's where I figure, you know, I see the biggest disconnect. You know, that's, you know, and there's other issues, but for me, you know, that's a big. When my brother and I, when we were growing up, we were playing, you know, basketball, baseball, always with guys older than us. Okay. You know, and I mean, I remember playing when I was a kid. I was playing basketball. My cousin, he knew guys on the Golden State Warriors. And we'd go down there and play with Will B. Free, Sonny Parker, and those. I was playing basketball when I was in high school with them guys. You know, so I mean, I wasn't a basketball player, but
right. But you were playing against that competition.
Yeah, that's competition to play against. And you know, I mean, to me, that just makes sense. So you know, I just think if we got to do away somehow with this junior mentality. Okay. You know, and get these kids after you're about 14. You know, you need to start thinking about playing some open tournaments, and then get up and then play some of the qualifiers for some of these bigger open tournaments. Work your way up to some of the challengers, okay, and some of the futures, and so you can see where your game is at. You know, not just get stuck playing junior tennis all the way up to 18. You know, you get a lot of kids, and when you start telling them to go play an open, play a challenger, play a qualifier. You know, well, if I win, you know, if I can't accept money, then I'll be ineligible. Well, you're probably not going to win, okay? Because you're probably not good enough. If you was good enough, you'd be playing. But you're never going to be good enough if you don't play. So that's, you know, that's just something that I see, and I just don't, you know, I don't agree with. A lot of people, you know, they'll say I'm wrong, and they argue about that, but you know, our tennis is where it's at. Right. And, you know, and you use their method, it's not getting any better. Right. You know, if you look at some of the pros, you look at Andre Agassi, you look at Jim Curry or Michael Chang, you know, those guys were playing at one time, they were playing in their teens. They got out of they were playing junior, but they were playing national junior tournaments. Okay, then they're playing junior tournaments around the world. Okay, then they're playing challengers. They're doing all this while they're teenagers. Right. You know, we don't preach that. All we preach to our kids is chase these junior points, get your Southern ranking, and you know, or get your regional ranking. And it, you know, I don't like to tell a lot of kids that and tell it to them like that because it discourages them a bit. But if you're serious about playing, you know, I mean, the method I just told you, that's the exact method I preach to my son. You know, I don't want that junior tennis. I'm just not a great fan of if you want to play with the big boys. Right. If that's your goal. If that's not your goal, if your goal is just to get, you know, a scholarship somewhere, then you can play junior tennis. That will get you a scholarship. If that's your goal. But it just depends upon what your goal is. But I think your question was the state of, you know, American tennis. Right. And that, you know, that's if you look at Jack Sock was playing world events as a junior. Okay, playing national tournaments as a junior. But that's what you're, you know, that's going to get you to where you want to go. You know, so you have to start somewhere. But if you're thinking about what you're talking about, the state of American tennis, and if you're going to play pro tennis, then you got to start playing some of these pro level events. You have to at some point in time. You got no choice. Okay.
I know you've only been on the job since November, but did you know much about OVC tennis before you came to
OVC tennis? I knew something about OVC tennis. had a, I knew about, Austin P and Murray State, so I knew somewhat of the talent level. I've heard, the talent level has fallen off, but I always worry about, I got a good barometer, of the kid that I need, so, by next year we'll be up to speed. We will be up to speed. So it took me, it took about 3 years to. That was because we were having some administrative problems at UAP, but it took me about that long to get up to speed. And once we get up to speed, we didn't have any, issues. I'm a good judge of talent and what I need, and so, I'll be looking this spring, with bringing in the number 5 kid out in the nation. That speaks volumes. So he's going to do well. I already know where he fits on several teams. If he were to go to these other teams, I know where he would be. So he should play. He'll definitely play top 3, probably 1 or 2 for us. And I'm, right now looking for a legitimate number 1. I know what I need in that category. There's a couple kids that I am looking at. I don't want to say who, but
sure.
If we get them, we'll be in real good shape. 2 of the kids I know. One of the kids, he could have went to 2 SEC schools, but he had to go to JUCO. He's having some grade issues, so. I am looking at him extensively. If I get him, we'll be in great shape in the OBC. Great shape. Or a kid of his caliber, I should say.
Okay. So. You seem very upbeat about the caliber of a local talent. Does that bode well for the future for TSU?
Yeah, we need those kids. Those kids help in a lot of ways, not just on the court, but off the court. They bring legitimacy to your program. You can convince that, in-state talent or in-town talent to stay. That just tells the kids in town, hey, this kid went there, and man, look what he's doing. Because we are D1, and if you win, that's an automatic bid to the NCAA. So, where I come from, it's just a matter of hard work. You work hard, good things usually happen. So, we have, there's 2 kids here, Joe Daniels. I really, really want to keep him here. He's about 2-3 star recruit. I don't like to put labels on him, but he will help us. He could come in right away and help us, on the bottom half of our lineup, and help us a lot. He's got a huge upside to his game. We got another kid here, Gary Falcone. He's another kid that has a lot of upside to his game. And those 2 kids, they could really come in and help this team right away. Right away. I see those 2. If they come in and play, it'll probably be on the bottom, part of the lineup. The other kids that I'm bringing, a little more experience than they are. So, but keeping the local talent here, that's just huge. We got a girl here, Miss Clayton, trying to keep her here. I think FAMU and Prairie View and a couple other schools are, trying to get her. But, that's what I'm saying, convincing these kids to stay here and play tennis at home, it just speaks volumes. And then these other kids in the area, when they start seeing that, they'll start giving us a serious look. Not just like, TSU, haven't been that good in the past. But when they see what we're doing, and you know the culture of the team changing, we start winning some matches, then they'll start looking at us a little more seriously.
Okay, when does the season start?
Season starts this spring. We start, I think, our first match. The men play Lipscomb University on the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. And the ladies, we're looking at a trip down to Arkadelphia, Arkansas on the 8th. That hasn't been firmed up, but we will start in February. Mid-February we will hit it, and it'll be a jam-packed. It'll be a short season because I got here late, so we only have 16 matches on the docket. That's not a lot. I like to have you know, a minimum of 20. I like to have max 24, and then a full. We do have a fall schedule, which consists of tournaments usually, and we travel throughout the South and playing some tournaments, and then we play the ITA regional usually, and that gives the kids a good barometer of what their game is at, because they're playing against some of the best kids, you know, in the country. Oh yeah, and by the way, that Daryl, the recruit from Mississippi, he actually won a ITA regional last fall. So now I'm really high on him. That kid, he's I've been recruiting him for a bit. He works. He's a hard worker. I'm real impressed with just where his game is. He's just a lot of hard work. The kid, not afraid to put in the work. So
welcome you to Nashville, and thank you for your time. And look forward to covering your matches.
Not a problem.
Very much.
It's good being here. Happy to be here.